Okay, we're live. I'm
You're
not
live.
sure. Okay, I don't know what it's on, but well, oh, it's on YouTube. Okay, we're on YouTube. We're not. I'm going to put that up. Um, Hi, this is Adam Eliel Berkowitz from Israel 365 News. I have to explain to you all what just happened. Israel 365 News. Let me put this up. Uh, the broadcast is now going to be on our YouTube channel and not on our Facebook channel. The reason is, um, oh my gosh, the reason is we are being censored by Facebook. Facebook will not let us put up a Facebook will not let us put up um, videos. Um, and we've encountered this before. Let me just put this up. Israel, the video will be on the Israel 365 News. Uh, um, okay, I apologize for that delay. I'm trying to multitask. It's not my best trait. Um, Basically, what happened was YouTube does not like us. YouTube will frequently stop us from putting up videos um, because we are pro-Israel. Facebook is getting slammed and even sued for its anti-Israel positions. They have no problem with pro-Nazi. They have no problem with Holocaust denial. They do have a problem with pro-Israel, especially after the recent conflict. So is no longer um, YouTube is no longer allowing us to post our videos. So unfortunately, this will go up on YouTube. Probably more people will see it tomorrow. Oh, we do have some people. That's nice. Oh, there you are. That was Luke. Okay. Um, okay. Oh, Marilyn is with us from North Carolina. So I guess we are getting out there. So I'm sometimes I do these videos just because I am zoche. I merit to meet amazing people. Yeah, Josh, we're banned again. I tried popping it up on Facebook and it didn't work. Sometimes I do videos just because I meet the most amazing people who are doing amazing things, and I just want to talk to them, and I want to share this conversation. So here I am with Luke Hilton and Josh Waller. They are connected with Hayovel, of course, family connection and professional connection. And I think these guys are right up front. If you're wondering who are the crazy guys who are going to be in the final war for Mashiach, for Messiah, carrying the banners and carrying a sword in the other hand, banging the drums and saying, "Come on, guys, let's go!" It's these guys. Okay, these are the guys. um, they have a video channel, which God bless them. It's called the Joshua and Caleb Network. And I don't know how Luke fits in other than he married into the Waller family. But Josh and Luke do these videos that are astounding. They went into an Arab village to debunk the myth about a crisis in Arab housing. They debunked a lot of myths. Everything they're doing is debunking. I have a feel. Okay, let me first tell you how I connected with the Wallers. Okay, and this will tell you what kind of people these are. I remember years ago, I saw a video of a little beautiful, beautiful 3-year-old boy with blonde hair. I think he even had payas. Um, on the Temple Mount, holding a hand, you know what I'm talking about, holding his hand over his eyes, screaming out Shema Yisrael for every Arab on the Temple Mount to hear. Totally fearless with the most beautiful smile, a total little angel. You guys know what I'm talking about? It was a little
Yeah, so
wild.
that was yeah. So no payouts. None of the Wallers have payouts.
Right. Okay.
Unfortunately, but we do. I tell you what we do. We stand 100% with the Jewish people, the nation of Israel.
Well,
Uh,
not only
I
do you
have my
stand, my point is, I think it was a year ago, I wrote about how you guys had a confrontation with the Waqif on the Temple Mount. They don't like Jews. They don't like Jews to pray up there, but they don't. I don't want to. I don't like just to use the word hate, but they get irked by you guys even more. And there was a confrontation where it almost came to blows on the Temple Mount between you and the Waqif.
Well,
So
I was grabbed by two Waqf guys, one on one side of me and one on the other, for basically just talking to the tour group on the Temple Mount. So we've had. I wasn't fighting with them. I was basically just talking about real peaceful topics like the temple and the Jewish people wanting to pray. And I really wasn't trying to make them mad in any way, but they were very mad.
yeah.
And my brother and I, they grabbed both of us and literally hauled us off the mount.
Oh gosh, they don't want to mess with the Wallers. I don't want to mess with the Wallers. I don't know why they would do such a thing. So that's exactly what I wanted to talk about today, which is, what are they so angry about? It's not that they hate Jews, which is bad enough, but what they really hate is anyone who sees holiness in the land of Israel. Anyone who relates to the Temple Mount as holy. They play soccer up there. They do what they if they could have cookouts, they'd have cookouts. But I've seen it, not just you, but any Christian that relates to the Temple Mount as holy, they go crazy on it. So we're talking about a fight against holiness. And I see you guys, you're right there with us. You're certainly not Jewish or worshiping as Jews, but you recognize the sanctity of the Bible, the holiness of the Bible, of God's word, and you recognize the holiness of the land in Israel. So they're targeting you even more than us. That's my opinion. Would you say that's accurate?
I think it's like when you go on the Temple Mount, they differentiate between us and other groups.
Yeah.
Used to, back in the day, we used to go on the Temple Mount, and as soon as we started, as we were educated, that there were places on the Temple Mount that Jewish people respect greatly, such as the top area where the Dome of the Rock sits. Well, when I first came, I didn't know that, so I walked right up to the top. Well, slowly, as you're here in Israel and you understand more and more of the honor and respect the Jewish people give to the Temple Mount, and we also honor that. And so, as we're taught the basic respect for the Temple Mount, well, we said, "Whoa, sorry, we did not know." Obviously, we're going to go by the Jewish rules for the Temple Mount. So, as soon as the Arabs saw that we started to go by Jewish respect, they automatically put us in the category of the Jews. So when we go onto the Temple Mount, we don't walk straight up to where the Holy of Holies would have been. We don't march right over the top where the temple would have been. We carry respect for the mount itself, just like the Jewish people do. And we walk around the outside of it, honoring the mount. So when we do that, it infuriates the Islamists that are there on the site, because they sense that, and we tell them we're not Jewish, but it doesn't matter.
No.
If you stand with the Jews, you'll be taken with the Jews. That's just the historic account.
Have you ever gone up there with Jews?
Usually, so nowadays, now that we've done it so long, they treat us, thank God, not only do the Arabs treat us like Jews, but also the border police treat us like Jews, thank God. So we can't go up without a security guard now. We must be with the Jewish group. We can't just go up on our own. Our faces too well. When we go up on the mount, we go together with a Jewish group with Israeli security guards.
Because first of all, because that's actually the prophecy, that it'll be a house of prayer for all nations. So if they keep nations from going up as nations, then they're just stopping the prophecy. And I've seen them try to do that. There are times when they will let Jews and Christians be together on the Temple Mount, but there are other times when they will stop them. So that's definitely what happens. Also, you guys are located. Um, if people don't understand where exactly you're located on Har Bracha, the Mount of Blessings, which is where the Jews got the blessings and the curses when they came into Israel. You're where all the blessings of Israel are coming, right? They're flowing under your feet. And I have to tell you, I was there for the first time not so long ago, and it's, I've hung out uptown Manhattan late at night, but that area scares me even more. It's not it's not Club Med. It's some serious. I mean, they have the big red sign, "No Jews allowed." It's dangerous. There's a lot of Arabs up there. I've noticed that, and Arabs that are angry and think they're the owners of the land and can do whatever they want. Um, you guys have a very serious connection with what Americans mistakenly call the settlements, but which we call Judea and Samaria. What's your connection with Judea and Samaria? Why didn't you go to Ashkelon, which is also not a safe place these days, or someplace in the center? There's grapes all over. Why did you Dafka specifically go to Samaria and the area you're in?
I
Luke,
don't
I've been
think
talking
we
a lot.
would have.
Go for it. Someone.
I don't think we would have actually. I was gonna jump in off of what Josh was talking about on the Temple Mount, because I don't think we would have come to have a love and respect for the Temple Mount if we had not first been in the biblical heartland of Israel for so many years. And the way we started here was not intentionally. It was actually my father-in-law, Tommy Weller, had a mutual friend introduce him to a farmer here on the Mount of Blessing that showed him his vineyard and read to him from Jeremiah 31, which says, there will again be vineyards planted on the mountains of Samaria. Struck a chord in him, and he realized that prophecy was being fulfilled on.
Oops, we lost him. Okay, so Josh, are you with me?
Did he jump out on us?
He jumped out.
I'm there. I can hear you.
Okay, so Josh,
I know his lines too well. The basic story is that we were introduced because of the Bible. We get connected to the mountains of Samaria, and I don't know if people really know this, Eliyahu, but when we read the Bible, it's full of passages like the mountains of Israel. It's mentioned over and over and over again. And when we came to Israel, we came from the very biblical approach that we wanted to be in the land of the Bible, right? And most people don't realize that 70, 80%, even more, of the biblical lands of Israel, where Bible stories literally happen, it's Jerusalem, Judea, and with Samaria in the north. So Samaria, Jerusalem, Judea, that's where it all happens. That's where the Bible really comes to life. So when we came to Israel, it was really a first was really we knew our Bibles and we wanted to connect. And we knew a prophecy that was told to us when we arrived that said that there would be vineyards planted on the mountains of Samaria specifically. And that caught our hearts. We said, you know what, we can plant tomatoes and corn and cabbage. From farming family back in Tennessee, we could do that, but there's really no Bible passages that say anything about farming in Tennessee. That's just not there. You can look really long and hard. It's not there. So when we saw that there was something tangible, something significant, there's no Arab regime in the world that could hold us back from literal Bible prophecy being fulfilled in the land of Israel. It's touchable and tangible, and that's what grabbed our hearts.
I still remember the very first time. Oh gosh, I'm going back, I think 15, 20 years. I went into a supermarket in Jerusalem, and there was a young girl at the cashier, and she looked at me, and I was living in Gush Etzion at the time, and I had long bushy payas. My beard was down to here. I had the big floppy kippah. My jeans were dirty, and she looked at me and she asked me, "Are you a mitnachel?" Mitnachel is unfortunately the Hebrew word today for settler. Now it used to be hityashvut, which means literally to settle the land. But because of the political agenda, the slang became hitnachlut. And because it was slang, I didn't quite understand it. The slang literally means to like butt in line or to grab someone else's place. But what it comes from is the word nachala, which is an inheritance. So I thought she was asking me, "Are you taking back our inheritance?" So I took it as a big compliment. I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Oh." She didn't like it, so I was very proud. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting my inheritance from Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yankala. I'm getting the inheritance," and it took me a very long time to realize that for some reason the language has been manipulated to where getting your inheritance is a bad thing. In To be an am kovesh, to conquer the land, has a negative connotation in the left wing, in the press. The language is very, very important. So if you look at the values, we're doing the right thing. But if you listen to the propaganda language and you fall into it, then we're the bad guys. That's the way I see it. I have this whole theory because I write fiction, I write articles, I write everything. I have this theory that there's something either in the air or the water outside of Israel that makes people go insane. And when I listen to you guys and I listen to the media reporting on the news in America, and it's just like two different stories. I'm like, okay, you could say that I'm prejudiced because I'm Jewish. You guys aren't Jewish, but you sound very sane to me. You sound like as opposed to the people outside who are like, oh, poor Gaza. I'm like, you're insane. You're shooting rockets at our cities. So I'm wondering if you guys are my buddies in sanity. I'm wondering if that might be the case.
That's right.
Yeah, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You read the Bible.
We get comments on our we get comments and questions all the time, same as you're talking about. And every time someone says something that is just 180 degrees the opposite of what's true, immediately our first thought is, you haven't been here, you haven't seen it for yourself, you have no idea what's going on here. And that's part of too, because we bring volunteers to Israel, is we've seen every volunteer that we brought to the land of Israel, it's like a 99% accuracy. Every person that's come here and seen it for themselves and had their feet on the ground, their perspective has changed forever. Even if they come once and 15 years later, they still are unconditionally standing with the land of Israel, no matter what. But it's like you're saying, it's that seeing it for yourself.
I remember there was a birthright group that came to Israel, and they complained. They said, oh, those they didn't show us the real Israel. They didn't show us the oppressed Palestinians. They didn't show us all the horrible stuff that we learned about. And so they didn't show it to us, so they lied to us. And I'm thinking, you can't even believe your own eyes when it's in front of you. It's a form of insanity. I think it really is.
I think it's insanity, but there is an ingredient that's mixed in the insanity that also can certainly be defined as completely insane, and that's anti-Semitism. It makes absolutely no sense. It's contagious. It breeds outside of Israel like a cancer, and it really is a huge battle that we fight today. And I think that's a part of the issue, and that's we just saw the stats that came back to say young people in America, it's dropped from 75% of Israel down to 25% now to support Israel. It's a cancer that's growing, and it's called Jew hatred, to be simple. It's people get confused when they think anti-Semitism. What does this fancy word mean? Well, it's Jew hatred, and that's really at the bottom line that we're fighting is this demonic, crazy mental thing where people just literally hate Jews. And it's literally taken over the globe, and we see it rising unbelievably. So we have a formidable foe that is targeting these young people. That really the billions and millions of dollars from leftists that are going in to feed this monster, and we have to combat it. I mean, just now you're a prime example of it. You're trying to share truth, and what you get censored. This is the dragon we're trying to fight is literally censoring the truth. You're trying to get a message of truth out, and you're being censored for it. When the supreme leader of Iran can say he's going to blow Israel off the map and there's no censorship, there's something completely wrong with this picture. And this really shows you truly that we're fighting a battle of real Jew hatred. When somebody will accept the fact that it's okay to blow the nation of Israel off the map, but as soon as a Jew tries to say it, bring a little bit of truth to the world, even a little bit of a Torah, right? You're a religious Jewish man. You're going to bring a little Torah to the world. It's completely flipped upside down. They're believing and letting the imams speak their war propaganda machines. They're letting them go. But as soon as a religious Jewish man opens his mouth, they shut him up. I think of David. King David says, "I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war." Right? It's literally the same old story. It's a biblical thing. It's literally been happening since the foundations. It's the same old war Israel's fought from the beginning.
Well, one of the hard parts of making these videos is not crying. What you just said is so incredibly powerful, because people forget. I mean, my Rav, one of my Ravs, he said to me, when it comes to the Arabs attacking Israel, oh, we're back to normal. We're back to normal. They never count Jews as an oppressed minority. Thomas Sowell, who's a black man, he said, brilliant man, he said, how do you stop anti-Semitism? The Jews have to fail. Because the anti-Semitism is like, oh, the Jews are successful. Is that bad? Why is that bad? Mm-hmm. And people forget, that right now in America, there's this big thing about blacks. Okay, they were enslaved. Horrible. I'm not going to diminish that. 150 years ago. People forget that Jews were enslaved in the Holocaust. They were taken and literally worked to death. I just spoke to a woman, Rena Sint. She's a Holocaust survivor, and she described it. And who was doing it? She said something that blew me away. She said there was, in Frankfurt, Germany, there was this fishmonger that all the Jewish women went to. And he joked with them, sold them their fish for Shabbos. He was their best friend. He gave, they gave him all the business. It was great. But when it came to Kristallnacht, the night that they burnt down all the synagogues, he insisted on going around and being the first one to light a match. She said, where does the anti-Semitism come from? It's not from over the ocean. These are your neighbors. And we just literally saw that in front of our eyes, that because of Israel, Jews were being beaten in America. What's the connection? And a professor from Yad Vashem, he explained to me, he's like, that's the first form of anti-Semitism. It's mentioned in the Bible. What was Pharaoh afraid of? He was afraid that the Jews were the outsiders. They're living with him. They're running his businesses. They're running the country. They're with them with it. Oh no, they're the outsider. And still in America, rockets are falling on us, and every Jew in America is held responsible for everything Israel does because they're an outsider. I mean, aside from the fact that it was unfair, but why hold the Jews responsible? They're Jews living in America. But no, we are the outsider no matter where we are, no matter when we are. And you give me a great deal of hope, and I'll tell you why. Because being the outsider, being the Jew forever, And I mean, I guess it's in my collective subconscious my ethnic unconscious as a Jew. Uh, it's so painful to be alone. It's really painful to be alone. That the Jews cannot count on anyone. We cannot really have an alliance with anyone. And one of the most beautiful things that I've seen in the past couple years is we're not alone anymore. And as a Jew, that's everything. That's a game changer. So to hear Josh Waller say, "Look, it's anti-Semitism, and anti-Semitism is a form of craziness and evil," that's huge for me. That's really huge. Um, so that brings me to my next subject. This anti-Semitism um, is also being pointed at you guys. I don't know if you would call it that way. You might not call it anti-Semitism, but we talked about how you were attacked on the Temple Mount. Hayovel came to Israel and they plant and they harvest and you do the agriculture and you just had you planted an entire forest. Could you tell me about that? Could you tell me what happened to the forest? Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having a little internet troubles here, so just give me a wave if I break up again or something. But yeah, last year we started a forestry project, and we actually planted over 3,000 trees here in Samaria. And it was a huge project, especially during COVID. We had a very small group of volunteers that was able to come into Israel. And besides all the normal volunteer projects that we did, our volunteers worked really hard, all by hand. I mean, with picks and shovels and hose, clearing the ground and moving the rocks and digging all the holes and building cages and bringing mulch in. And through a very long process, we planted these thousands of trees. Well, just about a month ago, actually on Jerusalem Day, in the very same day that the first rockets were shot from Gaza, the local Arab village that's closest to our tree forestry project, they set fire to the edge of the trees. And it was a day that the wind was blowing just right. And within a matter of hours, 2,500 trees were completely destroyed, just gone, just like that. And yeah, the entire forest, and you can see the footage there. It was devastating, not only to us but also to the mountains that were, because our goal is to restore the land and to build up fulfill the prophecies that says there should be trees on the mountains of Israel. Once again, the mountains should be blossoming and blooming, and our only goal was to bless the land and to restore the land. And the Arab arsonists came in and destroyed it all within a matter of a couple of hours.
And now that's kind of like, how do you explain that? It's not a military victory. It's, they're not, it doesn't do anything good for them at all. I remember someone explained to me, Gush Katif, which is now Gaza, when Jews were there, they actually had a lot of businesses that were very lucrative, growing in, how do you say chamamot in English? Greenhouses. They had greenhouses, and they would especially grow herbs that were totally bug-free, and things grew faster. And it's basically in sand, and they took this sandy area that's not known to be lush and fertile, and they were making a nice living, even exporting to Europe and America what they were growing. And when the Jews were taken out of there, they plowed under all of the houses, all of the greenhouses. They plowed under, and I'm thinking to myself, well, the workers were Arabs. All they had to go in was go in and start working, and they'd be making a living. But the hatred was what was driving them. The hatred. Just to erase our presence, even our good presence, from the land. They don't want the land. They don't love the land. They just want us gone and the memory gone.
Right. And yeah, I was going to say exactly that, because the Palestinians and the pro-Palestinian movement around the world, they say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Right? They talk about returning to Haifa and Tel Aviv and Jaffa and Beit Shean, but it's not only the Jew hatred and the anti-Semitism, it's actually a hatred itself. Because even, if you have problems with the Jewish communities, even if you want the Jews out of the land of Israel, planting trees, like seriously, actually just saying, hey, trees were planted here that in 30 years will be beautiful oak trees and cypress trees and fruit trees and almond trees, and it'll, the land will be so much better for it. Nope, we're going to set fire to it and destroy it completely. So it's actually hatred for the land and completely destroying, the land that they say they want to take over.
Yeah, it's a hatred. They could very easily make the land blossom, and there's a relationship between the people and the land and Hashem, and when that relationship is complete, the land actually blossoms when it wouldn't before. And I mean, you guys actually, by coming here and planting, you're now a part of that relationship. So any hatred for the land would include you guys. Sorry.
Well, I guess we should just it better include us. If it doesn't include us, we're not doing very good. That means we're on the other side of the lines.
Yeah. Well, and the lines are being drawn. People are choosing sides. That's the other thing that is becoming clear. I mean, if you're not religious, like if there's a Christian who's not religious, fine. But why would you object to what the Wallers are doing by planting and, living the Bible? I think, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse. I've been in Israel, like I said, since 1991. And I could kind of understand the people who were screaming about me. They're like, but this time it's just like they shot 4,600 rockets at our cities. What are you going to say? Even the Sheikh Jarrah thing. It's what you're saying is you don't want Jews living there. The two-state solution. You don't want Jews living in Judea and Samaria. It's not two states. It's not fair. It doesn't make sense unless you lie. But it's a hateful movement. What are you going to say? Are you going to justify them burning down a forest? I thought you were, New Green Deal, pro-ecology. I think it really is a form of craziness, and I'm glad you pointed it out, Josh. It is, we call it anti-Semitism, but anti-Semitism is not Jew hatred. Anti-Semitism is just hating God, and we happen to be his representatives. We get the book. As long as we're around, you can't forget the gods in the world. And now that the Jews are back in Eretz Yisrael Bichlal, come on, what are you going to say? The prophecies came true. The covenant is in place. What are you going to do? So I think that actually includes you guys.
I think the lunacy of the whole Arab world, basically the haters of Israel, which include a lot of leftists these days as well, really shows when Hamas started in the international community. When the Hamas shoots 4,600 rockets at Israel, and then the world turns around and says, "What is Israel doing going in and taking out the enemies of Israel?" And when Hamas kills their own children, they blame Israel for it. And when they do that, America, in its crazy state at the moment, sends $360 million of support in to rebuild infrastructure. That's insanity. And I think that we realized at that point that we're fighting a bigger battle. And thank God. We're for a couple internationals, a couple Tennessee boys, we're sure glad to be standing with you, because that's absolutely insanity on the other side.
It is insanity. I think I put up a video I put up a link to your video channel, and you are exposing that insanity. You did a video on the fake riots. You did something. This is something we were talking about just before the this broadcast, that in my army service, I was in Ramallah, the holy city of Ramallah, and I saw the Arab riots, and I'm like, I've got to be crazy. I've got to be crazy. And then you went in and you're like, oh my goodness, everything Eliyahu said is right there, that it's all fake. It's all fake. They don't, they are putting on a show entirely for the media. I remember we used to know when the riots were going to start, because the photographers and the video crews always showed up 15 minutes before. So as soon as the news crews showed up, we're like, okay, break out the tear gas. It's time to get rolling. And I was watching. I was a medic, and I was friendly with the Palestinian medics, and I just couldn't believe they would go up, they would pick up an injured person, put him in the ambulance, drive around the corner. The guy would jump out and go back and start throwing rocks again, and they'd go and pick him up again. And it was, the same kid, and it was so fake. And we actually also caught them helping out, because ambulances are amazing for carrying equipment, heavy equipment, and they've got lots of hiding places in ambulances, and also they would carry combatants. So. And you reported on it. You said, "Look, I can't believe it. We weren't expecting it. Here it is, and it's fake." And it was good. It was like, oh, so I'm not crazy. This is what they're doing. So I'd like to recommend. I'll put the link in. I want people to watch your videos, because if you don't believe me, you've got to believe Josh and Luke. They're telling the truth. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys wanted to say before we say goodbye? Is there anything else you wanted to add? Get the word out.
Looks like the connection's a little tough there. It's an honor to stand with Israel, and we'll continue to do so. We're very grateful, Eliyahu, that you've had us on. We really appreciate your work. And
oops. Oh no, we lost them. Oh well, that's technology when it doesn't work. I really do like those guys. They are on our side, and the haters are hating them just as much as they hate the Jews. I'd like to thank you all for watching. We are being censored again by. There you are. You're back.
Hey, we're back.
We are being
censored or not. We're gonna keep giving it out, Eliyahu.
Yeah, we're being censored, but you can't stop the truth. I'm sorry. A little bit of light throws away a lot of darkness, and you guys bring a lot of light into the world. So hopefully we'll be making the darkness go away, and people are, it's funny. I remember thinking that in the fairy tale of the Emperor's New Clothes, where the Emperor says he's wearing new clothes and he's actually naked. And finally, at the end, the little boy says, "Oh, but he's not wearing any clothes." In the story, everyone turns around and says, "Oh my goodness, you're right." In real life, when you tell people the truth, they don't like you, and that's what you guys are doing. So I think you guys are awesome. The battle lines are being drawn, and I'm very proud and honored to be on this side of the line with you. I really am.
We're with you.
Oh man!
Okay.
Thanks so much. One day I'm going to come out and see the Wallers, because
hey.
I see you occasionally, but God willing.
Yeah. Hey, come on out. We'd be happy to have you.
Amen. I'll have my wife bring me out there. Okay. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Joe. Be blessed. We're going to be sending you all your blessings from Israel. Be blessed, y'all.
Blessings.